They say setback is just a setup for a comeback. So what do you do if you fell off? Right, that's the question that we ask ourselves. But it's very simple. You have to come back, right? But how do you come back after you fell off? I think it's just one single clear decision you have to make. And if you do this, all these thoughts of I ruined my career, I made a bad choice when it came to my relationship, I had a certain tragedy happening in my family, or even something health related, right? It feels daunting. Even the thought of moving on from what you had, who you were before, right? This old version of you that died. Letting it go, right? Feels so impossible. But it isn't. It is possible, right? Because I think so many people who are watching this right now, they had certain points in life where it felt like the world is going to end. I can't move on after this certain tragedy happened to me. But then, after time has passed, you're all of a sudden in a better position that you've been before. Maybe in the best position you have ever been. And then you look back to this time where you thought it's all over. If you're lucky enough that you can remember it, because often we like to push the bad things that happen to us away. And obviously your brain, your mind just wants to protect you, right? But sometimes you have to remember the bad things that happen to you to be wiser the next time, right? Or just learn, because sometimes it's not your fault what happened to you, right? But either way, it's your responsibility that you come back for yourself, first and foremost for yourself, but sometimes also for your loved ones. So what is it about this specific decision that you have to make? I think we pretty often love to keep running in circles in our mind about things or reasons why we can't do something, why we can't come back, why we can't stand up again and maybe even rise higher than we have ever been before, right? But as soon as you make this one single clear decision, it all of a sudden feels way easier. It looks way easier. It's just more real. Because it gets practical then, right? And most of the people, and I also felt guilty of that in the past, that I just didn't dare to make the decision. Right? And if you don't make a decision, that's also a decision, bro. That's a decision if you don't make a decision. But it's most of the time the worst decision. What if you just made a very conscious decision and whatever follows out of it, you can say, I created this, I made this. Maybe it's not that beautiful, maybe it's even pretty ugly. but made the best decision that I knew at the moment. And if we always keep this in mind, because again, we like to forget, right? If we keep this always in mind, that whatever happens, it's about how we decide to respond to it. I think that brings great freedom and autonomy into our precious lives. As human beings, we some sort of free our souls with it, how I think, right? If we just notice very important space between stimuli, right? This very important space between stimulus and our response. In the middle, between these two events, there lies our freedom. So yeah, just wanted to share this today because I felt like everyone needs to have a comeback at some point in their life, and maybe this helped one or another of my beloved Udizis enjoyers who is maybe in the midst of a low, or is in the process of coming back right now, or experienced it and they're higher than they ever been before, bro. They ever been before, up there in the sky, but with a certain groundedness, obviously, because you don't want to fall down and crash again like Icarus did when he tried to fly towards the sun. You should aim for the stars, right? But you shouldn't. Shouldn't fly too close to the sun, they say. All right. I will now enjoy my beautiful walk through the snow, and we will obviously see each other tomorrow again. And after this walk, I will record a little bit of music. It won't be a comeback in terms of music. It will be my debut with my EP that I will drop on March 2026. So be ready for this. And you just have to make the clear decision, right? Just one single clear decision you need to take to have your greatest comeback you've ever had and rise higher than you have ever been before. So bye-bye.